Hello Army. There was a moment when Jungkook introduced Taehyung as his lover during the BTS Arirang album live performance. You probably wouldn't expect what Jungkook said in front of all the audience. Jungkook told ARMY, "This is my love." ARMY were shocked. An entire stadium shouted "Taekook forever" and applauded loudly, and some ARMY even fainted from happiness after hearing Jungkook say those words. The incident happened right after they performed the song Hooligan. We all know that their love is not something to be taken lightly. For the haters who still can't accept this and keep saying they are just friends on stage, wake up, don't keep sleeping, you're missing the story. Watch the continuation of this video and don't miss it. Before we start, make sure you're ready to love this moments. Welcome to V-Effect. The stadium spotlights gradually dimmed after the thunderous beats of the song Hooligan came to an end, leaving heavy breaths and streams of sweat on the faces of the BTS members. A tense yet anticipatory silence enveloped the entire Arirang album live performance arena, where thousands of light sticks still glowed, forming a vast and beautiful ocean of purple. At the center of the stage, Jungkook and Taehyung stood side by side, drawing everyone's attention because they were wearing identical outfits, a detail that had sparked speculation among fans since the very beginning of the concert. Jungkook stepped forward toward the front of the stage with the microphone gripped firmly in his hand, while Taehyung stood slightly behind him with a faint smile that was difficult to interpret. The once roaring atmosphere suddenly fell silent when Jungkook took a deep breath, as if gathering all the courage he had to say something incredibly significant. His eyes stared sharply toward the sea of ARMY, radiating a sincerity that had never been seen before throughout their history as global idol superstars. Jungkook slowly reached for Taehyung's fingers, intertwining their hands in front of thousands of wide, disbelieving eyes. There was no script on the prompter screen, no cue from staff behind the stage, only pure honesty reflected in the magnate's movements. The tension in the air felt overwhelming as Jungkook brought the microphone closer to his lips, preparing to break down the wall of secrets that had been guarded so tightly for so long. "Everyone, there is something I want to tell you directly at this precious moment." Jungkook's voice echoed low yet steady through the stadium speakers. That opening sentence made every heart present beat twice as fast, creating a tension that could almost be felt physically. Taehyung briefly lowered his head, giving a gentle squeeze to Jungkook's hand as unwavering moral support for what was about to happen next. Without the slightest hesitation, Jungkook turned toward Taehyung, and then looked back at the ocean of fans with eyes shining with pride and love. "This is my love," he said briefly, clearly and firmly, the words seeming to freeze in the cold night air. The confession flowed naturally, tearing down every boundary between private life and professional stage that they had maintained so carefully for years. Total silence dominated the stadium for a few seconds, as if time had stopped and everyone had forgotten how to breathe. But the silence quickly shattered into hysterical screams that shook the foundation of the building, an explosion of emotion unlike anything ever heard in any concert before. The chant "Taekook forever" began to echo from one corner of the stands and rapidly spread throughout the entire stadium like fire igniting gasoline. Thousands of ARMY jumped from their seats, clapping thunderously as a form of blessing for the extraordinary courage that had just been shown. Tears of joy poured everywhere, transforming the concert atmosphere into an emotional celebration of love filled with heartfelt warmth. There was no longer any doubt, only sincere support flowing endlessly for two souls who had finally decided to open themselves to the world about their feelings. Chaos in the front rows became unavoidable, where several fans even fainted from overwhelming shock and happiness after hearing the confession live. Medical teams quickly moved through the crowd, yet the focus of the masses remained fixed on the two figures on stage who were still holding hands. Overflowing happiness made the stadium atmosphere feel magical, as if the entire universe was celebrating the historic announcement. Taehyung, who had appeared tense before, slowly released his signature boxy smile, gazing at Jungkook with eyes filled with gratitude and affection. He never expected that his teammate and lover would choose a live performance watched by millions to introduce their relationship. The matching outfits they wore were no longer just a fashion choice, but a symbol of unity and commitment they wanted to show to the world. The other BTS members standing at the side of the stage gave them space, allowing this moment to belong entirely to Jungkook, Taehyung, and their loyal fans. The audience's applause did not stop. Instead, It grew louder each time the giant screen displayed Jungkook's relieved face after the heavy burden had lifted from his shoulders. This event instantly became a new chapter in entertainment history, where the honesty of love was honored with the highest respect from its supporters. The chant Taekook forever continued rhythmically, creating a harmony that touched the hearts of everyone who heard it that night beneath the Arirang sky. Many ARMY hugged one another, celebrating the courage of their idols who had chosen honesty despite the risks they faced. The positive energy inside the stadium overflowed, erasing prejudice and replacing it with understanding and beautiful acceptance. Jungkook's eyes glistened as he witnessed the overwhelming positive reactions from fans he had once feared might feel disappointed. Instead of criticism, he received waves of love so immense that he repeatedly bowed in gratitude. The words, "This is my love," truly became the key that opened the door to freedom for both of them, allowing them to no longer hide in the shadows. Every corner of the stadium was filled with cheers that refused to fade, creating an atmosphere that felt more like a wedding celebration than an ordinary music concert. Some fans who had fainted began to regain consciousness, and soon cried emotionally after being told what had happened while they were unconscious. They felt proud to have witnessed history, the bravest and most romantic moment ever to occur on that magnificent stage. Taehyung eventually stepped closer to the microphone, adding a few words of gratitude that made the atmosphere even more emotional for everyone present. His deep and calm voice brought peace amid the noise, emphasizing that ARMY's support meant everything to their journey of love. The two stood tall, wearing identical outfits as a declaration that they were one unity that could never be separated by anything. The stadium lights slowly shifted into a deep purple hue, creating the perfect backdrop for the couple who had just come out. Not a single person inside the stadium felt regret for attending that night, because they knew they had witnessed something far more valuable than just a musical performance. It was a victory of love celebrated together by thousands who shared the same heart. The events following the song Hooligan would always be remembered as the most iconic moment in BTS Arirang album history, where a simple confession changed everything. Thunderous applause continued to accompany them as they finally walked back to their original positions to continue the show, but now with a different status in the eyes of the world. The world now knew, and the world chose to support them wholeheartedly without exception. That night closed with deep emotions etched into the hearts of every ARMY, carrying home memories of Jungkook's courage and Taehyung's joyful smile. The Arirang Stadium became a silent witness to the moment when the words, "This is my love," changed history and strengthened the bond between idols and fans through honesty. Taekook was no longer just speculation, but a beautiful reality that would continue to be protected by millions of prayers and unwavering, forever support from their loyal fans. At the end of that magical night, Jungkook and Taehyung stood side by side at the center of the stage, their gazes sweeping across the entire stadium. With voices trembling slightly from overwhelming emotion, they expressed their deepest gratitude to ARMY who stood strong in their support. They admitted that without the love and understanding of their fans, the courage to reveal their true selves and feelings might never have been realized in front of the public. Taehyung then took over the speech, emphasizing how meaningful ARMY's acceptance of their relationship was for their future journey. He stated that the sincere support shown through chants of Taekook forever and thunderous applause was the most beautiful gift they had ever received throughout their careers. To them, ARMY was not just fans, but a large family that provided a safe space for their love to grow without fear of judgment. As a closing gesture, both of them bowed deeply for several moments as a symbol of infinite respect and love for all witnesses of that historic night. They promised to continue creating even greater works, carrying the energy of love they had just shared into every note and dance step in the future. That night ended with a faithful promise that the love between Taehyung, Jungkook, and ARMY would continue to shine eternally, transcending the boundaries of time and space. Leave your positive comments here. The best comment will be pinned as a way to honor their love. Thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. May God reward all of your kindness. This video reflects my personal opinion and interpretation. It is made for entertainment purposes only and does not represent confirmed facts.